You open that for me?
Absolutely.
It's tight on there for some reason. Thank you. That's good.
I am. Hope it. Tap the gavel twice.
Good evening and welcome to the joint City of Boynton Beach City Commission and Charter Review Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, August 19th, 2025, and the time is 5:30. We will now turn to the Deputy City Clerk for roll call.
Mayor Rebecca Shelton,
Present.
Vice Mayor Woodrow Hay,
Present.
Commissioner Angela Cruz,
Present.
Commissioner Thomas Turkin,
Present.
Commissioner Amy Kelly,
Here.
Committee Member Jerry Taylor,
Present.
Committee Member Reverend Richard Dames,
Present.
Committee Member David Katz,
Present.
Committee Member Angela Tranowski,
Present.
and Committee Member Phyllis Polici.
Pacelli.
Pacelli, and I messed that one up.
Close enough.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. First, on behalf of the city, I'd like to extend our gratitude to each member of the Charter Review Committee for volunteering your time, expertise, and dedication to this important work. Your willingness to serve in this vital role demonstrates your commitment to our community's governance and future. The thoughtful analysis and recommendations you will provide to the Commission will help ensure our charter continues to serve the needs of the city effectively. Again, thank you for your service and for your valuable contributions you add to this process. We are now moving on to the agenda approval, additions, deletions, and corrections. Let's begin on the left with Commissioner Turkin. If you have any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda.
I have none.
And Commissioner Kelly.
No, thank you.
And Vice Mayor Hay.
No.
And Commissioner Cruz.
There.
Okay.
Motion to approve agenda?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and we have a second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We will move on to the other, which is the opportunity for the city commissioners to give direction to the Charter Review Committee regarding changes to the charter and scheduling of the first public meeting. Okay.
Yeah, so I'll open it up. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, committee members, for volunteering your time. As the mayor had mentioned, for me, I wanted to establish this committee to have experienced look at the charter, right? Keep it autonomous, give some feedback, and ultimately, I've been very vocal about this. It's not a directive from the commission in my eyes. It's to leverage all of these minds to be collaborative and identify where some maybe outdated changes need to be addressed in the charter. This charter is, I think 100 years old, if I'm not mistaken, and things change, things innovate. And so as the city changes, we need to make sure that our ordinances, our laws, and our charter keeps up to date. One of the things that I know the city attorney is working on currently is the residency requirement that will be coming to referendum. The matter is how and when. I think it's important for me that if someone's going to run and manage an over $300 or $300 million budget, that they actually live in the city, right? And they can be verified. I would personally, have more stringent qualifications, but, I understand that a lot of that's protected by Florida state statutes. So ultimately, I wanted to propose this committee so the committee members could be the ones to bring those proposed changes to the commission to then bring to the voters to enable the purest form of democracy via referendum. And so that's why we're here today. Thank you.
Commissioner Cruz, do you have anything? Vice Mayor Hay?
No, again, I would like to welcome this Charter Review Committee. It's long overdue. We've been able to find something ourselves that should never have been on the books. And I'm sure that you guys will find something and make some recommendations. I have some thoughts that I would like to see you look over, but I don't think this is the time for that. We'll just welcome you, and I'll see what the structure is from here.
Have we determined when this board meets and where and anything?
That's one of the things we're to discuss today is our first meeting, the scheduling of that and where that will take place. And then also at the first meeting, we'll elect the chair and the vice chair.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yep, so I think, open it up to the committee members, see where everyone's, what everyone's schedule looks like, how often we want to meet. You know, I would like the city attorney's office to be at these meetings, as we move forward. And if there's anything that my colleagues want to bring up now, I think we address it now. And then that way it can, be discussed. Otherwise, we'll reconvene and, let the board operate as it was, established to do so.
I think one of the things we're looking for is some type of report or sunsetting in October. And so with that being said, it's up to the committee, of course, how often and where you want to meet. You know, there are a lot of things that you guys could look at. And we have to think as a committee and as a commission, a council, that these are necessarily long-term rather than short-term, even though some could be short-term. But basically, we're looking at long-term suggestions here. Like, it may not be a hot topic with people, but you got to talk about it. For example, whether or not this should be a council city manager structure. What are the benefits for it? What long-term is, are we serving the needs of the people? These are questions that the form of government that we have would be something that I would like to see you guys look at. You know, whether it be a commissioner, city manager, or stay like it is. But I think tonight is best to get these questions answered about how often you're going to meet and where you're going to meet. And then we'll just have a dialogue from there. In order to get what we want to accomplish, it may take a little more meeting than you might normally think, like once a month. You might have to go twice a month. I don't know.
I
But
think it comes down to efficiency, number one, and I would like to see, and again, I hope that the board can agree with me on this, is it something that we try to focus on the quality of life issues? I think
Right.
there's a lot of things that might be dated and might not apply, and I get that you might be able to get to that sooner than later, but right now, I think it's collectively talking about how we're gonna make things better, whether that's more beautiful, safer, more efficient. I think those are the things that that this board should tackle first, in my opinion. Yes, please.
Thank you. One, I think we would like to have, and I'm speaking from my mind, one, the date certain that we have to be done so that there's enough time for you guys to vote on whatever we bring forth, if you choose to vote on them, so it can get on the ballot. So whatever that, you know, that hard stop is. The last time there was a charter review committee, we met 6 times, I think over a period of 2 months, and we got it done. It's not a very thick document at all. I mean, it's not going to take months and months to do this. The other thing is to maybe work with the city clerk to find out when either this room or a conference room is open, so we don't conflict with some other committee or board that's meeting, and maybe, you know, gather, you know, poll the rest of the members to find out whether that like a Thursday evening at 6 o'clock is good, you know, that kind of thing. So the only thing I would ask, and I think the board is, the city commissioner's already said, is that to kind of let us do the work, okay? Instead of, you know, like taking direction from, you know, what you want done. If it's something that we don't bring forward that you'd like to have done, then as the commission, you guys can vote 3-2 to put it as an ordinance for vote as a referendum. So just, that's what I'm asking. That's it.
The resolution provides that a final report with recommendations should be presented to the commission October 21st, 2025.
Okay.
So we do have a bit of a short time frame, about 2-month period.
Is that a Tuesday?
It is.
Is it Tuesday? So then, on that day, whoever the board, our committee chooses to present it to the commission will report our suggestions.
Correct.
That
And
would
we
be
could
the
either,
report that the vice mayor is asking about.
we could either add that as an agenda item, or we could do another joint meeting, whatever the body desires to do.
Can I ask a question? So on that presentation, then, we would do like a PowerPoint or something along those lines as a presentation? Is that what you're asking for recommendations, or do you want it just a plain written report?
Typically, it's a written report.
Okay, that's fine.
But I have examples of that. I'm sure my office will be instrumental in putting that together and then circulate it to the board based upon your direction, circulate that to the board for the presentation to the commission, whether you choose to do a PowerPoint with that or not is, you know.
I have one other question for you. Will you be giving us state statutes that we will need as part of the backbone? Because we don't want to make recommendations and say, oh, by the way, that's a violation of Florida statute. So
No.
I think it would be either having you advise us or give us copies of statutes, something I think would probably be helpful.
I think one of the things, and certainly is as things come up, then my office will research and, you know, deem whether that is appropriate. We've already started doing some research based upon some of the things that have come up, specifically the residency requirement and kind of what, there is no clear-cut law, because remember, this is home rule. So this area isn't necessarily preempted by state statute, but there is some case law guiding, and until I kind of know what areas you're looking at,
Yes.
I can't, you know, but yes, I'll provide you whatever you need.
Do you think it will be possible, like, say, after a meeting, let's say Mr. Katz or one of the other members here bring something up, can we request you to say, look, we're looking at these things, can you give us advice
Yes.
before the next meeting?
That is the role of the city attorney in this position.
Okay, I want to just kind of clarify a few of those types of issues so that we kind of know logistically, because from what I'm hearing, you want this done by October 21.
Correct.
Today is August, and so we're looking at, you know, half a dozen or so meetings, you know, every 2 weeks. So it would be some type of a turnaround for your office. As long as that's possible,
So
I
this was
think we can do our job quite well.
Just, this initial one with the short time frame was really supposed to be kind of narrow. The Charter Review Committee does not sunset at the conclusion of this review, and then there will be a full review. So the purpose of this meeting was for the commission to kind of give a little bit of direction on where the focus was to be. But if the Charter Review Committee also saw anything glaring, then they could certainly make recommendations. But this is narrow, and then the bigger review comes after.
Well, you or a member of your staff will be at our meetings,
At every single meeting.
so we can get guidance as we go along.
I didn't
See,
know that they were actually
yeah,
going to
they'll
be there.
here,
That
so
would be
They
great.
can guide us as we go.
Perfect, Jerry,
And-
That'll not
thanks.
be a problem.
Also, a person from the clerk's office. That
Very
That
good.
is who will be assigned to.
They will take
the
minutes,
committee.
right?
The clerk will take minutes,
Take minutes,
yes.
right, correct.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Great. Well, as far as meetings, I can tell you, I'm retired, so I can come as often you want or whenever you want. But I don't know about the others. I know some of you may work or something, so I'm open as far as the meeting
I
time.
resemble that, so
You resemble that,
I
Ramon?
resemble every morning.
I resemble that, too.
Yeah, you're pretty busy, Pastor Dane.
I'm
I
not
was
quite,
gonna say,
I'm not
Dane's
quite
got the
there
busy
yet.
schedule, yeah.
Phyllis is like,
I need evenings, guys. I still work a full schedule.
Okay.
So as long as it's around this time, I'm open.
Okay.
So, and I can be
Reverend-
very flexible.
Can I make a suggestion? Every 2 weeks, we have 8 or 9 weeks from now until October 21st. So would that
That would be fine. As far as I'm concerned, I would say yes to that. I don't know what everybody else would
Unless
say.
as a committee, we think we should meet within another week.
Well, we can start maybe in a week, and then from there,
Right.
every 2 weeks.
Is there a particular, is there a particular day that works better for the committee? Like a Tuesday, Wednesday?
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
I would like Wednesday if possible, but
I
I could
have
go
a-
Wednesday, Thursday.
I have another board that meets on Wednesday nights for the city, so if we could do Thursdays, that would be my
Thursday's good.
preference.
I'm okay with
Thursday?
that. Thursday's good?
Works for me.
How
Okay.
about the first or third Tuesday? in the evening? Oh, sorry.
Well, that's,
We do
well
have
then,
our agenda reviews on Thursdays, Shauna, so I don't know if that means you'd be in their meeting or this.
Stacy and I can work it
Okay,
out.
cool.
and then we just have to work out location and time. It's just going to be
Right.
what's
Time.
available.
Well, we should set a time right now.
6 o'clock?
6 o'clock is fine with me.
Okay. And here?
If
I
it's
don't know
open.
that it needs to be televised necessarily. We could probably do in our community room is what I'm thinking. And then certainly if somebody wants to attend, there'll be plenty of seating in there.
And no, there can be an email
I have
confirmation.
a question.
Shauna, on this.
Are most of the, I'm not sure if that's the case, but for our advisory boards, are those all televised or are they not? They're not?
To be honest, I don't know. The
I
IT
don't
may
believe
know.
so.
They're not?
No.
Okay.
No.
That would cost a lot of money.
Kelly, you wanted to say something?
Thank you, I did. I have had lots of conversations with city staff also, and so I think that it's important that we go to the powerhouses of the city in really what they recommend as far as what's working, what's not working, what needs to be changed, what doesn't need to be changed, and really assist the review board in prioritizing your ideas and initiatives and what really is, because there will be things that will come up that are a priority that have needed to be changed for a very long time. I've spoken to Andrew and he's been here for a long time. He knows what's working, what's not. I know we have a lot of deleted and old reserve stuff, and so there's always a lot of changes when it comes to our charter. So I think staff is a good resource, and I would really want them to be a part of this review committee meeting, just because they have the institutional knowledge of being here for a very long time and knowing what works and doesn't work, and helping them also to prioritize, what should come before us, first as a priority. So so that's my thought on that.
Would our first meeting being August 28th at Thursday?
Next week, the Thursday, the 28th?
Yep.
Everybody okay with that? Are you okay, Robert?
I have to check my calendar. I'll know this
Okay.
afternoon.
Commissioner Turkin?
Yeah, I just want to ditto Commissioner Kelly's sentiment. That's what I was going to say, is having staff involved, maybe whether it's, I would say Andrew, or Adam to participate, or at least connect with the city attorney's office. At the same token, have the city attorney's office also make recommendations. You guys hear that? Yeah. Because you guys are the powerhouse too. So, and then, collaborate with this board on, what the idea of the priority is, what should be addressed maybe sooner rather than later. And then also, as this board isn't going to sunset, we can continue this conversation. That way, we're focused on high priority things, and then we can take our time and really do a complete overhaul of what needs to be addressed. So I agree with you, Commissioner Kelly.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, just one thing we've noticed on the calendar. I know this is soon, but if we could start this Thursday and we do alternating weeks, that prohibits it conflicting with agenda review. That would work better for my staff. Otherwise, there may be a one-off meeting where you guys might get, a younger assistant city attorney. Because I do know we have a conference scheduled, that's a Thursday, Friday, and, agenda review, although generally those aren't as intense, but
Okay.
for scheduling purposes, not to interrupt, obviously our other
Well, this
meetings.
Thursday is the 21st. That's okay with me. How about- Okay. 21st.
Get my
this-
schedule, give me just one moment.
Okay, David?
That's not a problem.
I don't have a problem with that.
Well, while they're deciding, Shauna, and I don't know if Commissioner Kelly knows what those things mean in the charter, what deleted means
Oh, yeah.
and what you do? Okay, I'm sorry. You know, what deleted and what reserved means.
The, one other thing, if you need to contact us, like I was not contacted about this meeting, I want to make sure you have my correct email, so I'll give it to you later.
Okay, yes, that is something we need to get, is everyone's email address and phone number.
That'd be
In case we
great,
do
yeah.
need to reach you. Correct.
Me too. The 21st will be fine for me, everyone, so.
Okay.
And
21.
again, we just need a
for me as
quorum to
well.
meet. So if, on the off chance, someone is missing from one meeting, it's okay.
Will it be in this room, or are you going to email us and tell us which room we will be meeting in?
I believe it's going to be in our community room, which is right over here. So there's a way in from the lobby. So I believe that's it, but
If someone could just email us and just say,
Yeah,
hey, we're
once
on
we
for
have the
6
notice
o'clock in this
prepared.
room, that would be awesome.
we will provide,
Thank
the
you.
clerk will send everyone copies of the notice, and it'll have my email address on there as well. So if you need anything, I'm happy to give you all my cell phone number as well offline, and my office.
They're
Anything
gonna
else
send a
for-
document down, though. Phyllis has it to put everybody's email and stuff. So
okay.
let's just get that circulated.
Okay.
So just to
We
be clear,
want to, we're supposed to, like the chair and the vice chair, we want to do that at the next meeting, at the first meeting?
Yes, at our first meeting, we'll do
Got
that.
it. Okay.
just a quick question. Are these meetings subject to public notice?
Yes, they are subject to public notice, and there are also sunshine law with regard to them as well. So if there is an item coming up, if you could refrain from discussing it privately amongst each other unless it's at a publicly noticed meeting.
Sunshine. And how long is the meeting going? Are we scheduling 1-hour meetings, 2-hour meetings? What are we
You're gonna be here all
scheduling?
night, Phyllis, till like
Oh,
11 PM. Just
With you.
kidding.
I got you, I got you. I can write it in 3 languages.
Thanks for
We're good.
volunteering.
Affected by the sunshine law at all?
Yes, they are.
Yes.
Yeah, you can pass that
If-
down.
I have a little
Pass it to Jerry.
sunshine law cheat sheet for those of you who are not familiar. So once I get all of your emails tomorrow, I will send that around. It's a little memo that kind of explains what that is, just for your benefit. And then if you have any further
I want to thank all of you again. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you for the opportunity,
Well
guys.
overdue.
one last thing.
Did you?
I haven't finished.
Oh, okay.
If anybody in the audience or in the outside there has something that they'd like us to come in the charter, you can call me, anything, my phone number will be there, or you get it from the attorney.
Or come to
So,
the
because we
meetings.
want
They
to
could
be
just come to the
open.
meeting.
Or you can come to the meeting, but if you can't make the meeting, just give us a note. That's all I have.
Good.
Very good.
I think so.
If
City
there's-
Attorney, do you need anything else?
No, I'm all set. I think unless the board has any other comments, then we could.
I'm going to
The
wait
mayor
until
can-
they fill this out, get to the end, then we'll adjourn.
Anything from staff? He's a tiger.
You got 1.5 minutes.
Yeah, if anyone has any final comments,
How to
now
fix
is
the
the time
clock.
to make them. Mr. Katz?
90 seconds.
You're welcome. Sorry, I didn't mean to hold it up all weird, wonky.
And if there are no final comments, then do we have a motion? Do I have a motion to
So
adjourn?
move.
Second.
Okay. Vice Mayor Hay made the motion, and Commissioner Turkin made the second. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously.
All right.
We will be starting the next meeting in 6 minutes. And welcome to the City of Boynton Beach City Commission meeting. Today is Tuesday, August 19th, 2025. The time is 6 p.m. If anyone is here this evening for the annexation discussion, the City Commission is not considering annexation on this agenda. We will now turn to the Deputy City Clerk for roll call.
Mayor Shelton,
Present.
Vice Mayor Hay,
Present.
Commissioner Cruz,
Present.
Commissioner Turkin,
Present.
Commissioner Kelly.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Tammy. Pastor Sean Blakeney from My Anchor Church will lead our invocation tonight. Then Commissioner Kelly will lead the Pledge of Allegiance. Let's all stand for the invocation and pledge. And Pastor Sean, can you come on down?
Let's pray. Well, Lord, we are so grateful for your power and your presence. So thankful, extremely thankful for your love. Thank you for this amazing group of people, Lord, that is leading the city in such an amazing way. Father, we're praying today for direction, insight, wisdom. We're praying that you'd give that to us. We need it. And I pray in all things that, Father, you get the glory. And it's in your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands.
Thank you, everyone. We are now moving on to the agenda approval, additions, deletions, and corrections. Let's begin to my right with Commissioner Cruz. If you have any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda.
I do not, Mayor. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Hay.
Yes, I do have one addition. Out of my discretionary funds, $1,000 to the Boynton Beach Tigers High School. Is that the name of it? Okay. Paperwork clerk has. So I'd like to add that to the agenda for approval.
You need a motion to add that?
Well, when we approve the agenda,
Okay, just
we
do
can
it.
add it, we
Okay.
can, we can add it as 5B.
Wait, I might have a question. I remember at the last commission meeting, I requested for us to have a discussion about the resident from Gulfview Harbor who came in. Is that part of our future agenda? Just want to make sure it is. The last one? 11J. Okay, perfect. So no, I don't have any more changes. Thank you.
Here. Commissioner Kelly?
Mayor, the only thing I have, and I don't know if we want to talk about it now or later, 10C, we didn't really have an agenda review this week that involved all of staff, and I have some concerns about moving forward with 10C without more discussion, because I feel like, if I remember correctly from 6 months ago, we were very specific in our direction, and now it's kind of been kind of changed direction without really any discussion from the board. And so I want to make sure that I have enough time to talk with staff and review what our previous minutes were and what our direction was to staff, because I'm not comfortable moving forward with 10C tonight. I don't know if we want to, if we want to just wait to table it or we remove it, but I just wanted that to be reflected under that.
I'm okay to remove it. I'm not in agreement with it. I've done a good bit of research. I've got a lot of thoughts typed out to discuss this item. However, I'm okay to remove it or table it, given what the board consensus is.
Yeah, I agree on tabling it because
I would say we table it.
Yeah, it
Right,
was
so we'll do that
before
when we
my
get there.
time, so I need some more research
Yes,
on
we
that.
can table it at the time, or we can remove it with direction to staff to put it on the next one, but.
This is something that we've discussed at previous commission meetings. I haven't had the chance to read the entirety of the ordinance, so I would support tabling it, asking questions to the city attorney's office, and then coming back at the next city commission meeting. Thank you.
We'll just table it when we get there?
Yeah, when we get
Correct.
there.
Okay, and then Commissioner Turkin, do you have anything to add, delete?
I do not. Thank you,
Okay.
Mayor.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
Commissioner Kelly made the motion to approve the agenda as amended, and Vice Mayor Hay seconded the motion. All those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We will now move on to informational items by the members of the City Commission. Let's begin on the left with Commissioner Turkin.
Thank you, Mayor. I did have a very productive time at FLC. Was able to attend the Doge seminar and get some insight and feedback on what the state government is going to be looking for, looking at, and recommending. They are actually in Palm Beach County, I think yesterday and today, to give some recommendations. On the PowerPoint and presentation, I did not see that Boynton was one of the voluntary municipalities. However, I did see communications from the city manager's office, finance, with the state, so I'm unsure as why that is. So I would like to see on the city manager's report, you know, a follow-up on that. What they're doing, I think, is great for the taxpayer. And they're being pretty reasonable with considering cost of inflation. Obviously, you know, we've seen record inflation since 2020 with the pandemic, and then just the skyrocketing of costs all around. But some of their initiatives of, you know, prioritizing higher return on investment with taxpayer dollars, funding strategies, regulatory reform, which I think this commission has already done a lot of discussion about with regards to updating old ordinances, repealing old rules that are maybe unnecessary fees for our residents, and really maximizing the taxpayer dollar. And then making sure that we're entertaining and promoting free enterprise and free market by not subsidizing too much. I think the city does a good job with that. I think economic development has done great in their department. And, you know, I think we have an opportunity here to really be a leader amongst our municipalities, not just in the county, but in the state, to comply, open our books, and most importantly, ask for recommendations on how we can operate more efficiently, whether that's consolidation, you know, collateral roles, obviously eliminating waste, stepping away from social issues and focusing more on being fiscally responsible and focus on where that highest ROI is. So I know this has been a great acceptance by both the finance and city manager's office. So I'm really looking forward to see the hard work you guys put in collaboration with the Florida Doge team.
I do. I want to address one thing there. We had correspondence with the Doge team, I want to say probably 3 weeks ago. I believe Alan Lawson, our finance director, is in the back. We were completely transparent. They requested a great deal of information and data from us, and we fulfilled that request within a week, and they were very appreciative that the correspondence was so quick. So anything that they want from us, I mean, we are completely open, so they can come in person, they can send a team, we can do it over Teams meeting or via email. But we've completely, completed their initial audit request that they, all the information, I want to say close to 2 weeks. It took us about a week and a half to get them the information. So I would welcome that.
Yeah, that's great to hear. I think from what I gathered from the presentation was they're doing this across the board with county, with county boards, with city, or with municipalities. And what it seems like is they're going to take all this data and identify what the similarities are, and then I think ultimately provide some best practices. You know, I don't know what that's going to look like as far as the law goes, but I think this is good, and I think that we're really going to operate more efficiently with this collaboration. So I look forward to, you know, bringing back some tax dollars. Yep. No, I just wanted to inform, you know, a very good seminar, a lot of good information. I can share some of that information with both you and the city manager's office. I don't know if the presentation is live on FLC's website. If it is, I would highly recommend looking at it. It is awesome. The presenter did a great job articulating what this is going to look like. Also, I think address some concerns that, you know, majority municipalities may have, and kind of cushion those concerns, you know, and very fair with the sentiment of like, hey, obviously costs have gone up, right? I think, you know, that's known. And so, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this initiative, and I'm happy to hear that the city is being collaborative, because I don't think we see that across the state.
And real quick, just to give finance credit, we actually did it 2 days. We turned the response back to them in 2 days. With follow-up, they actually followed up back up with us, and then so everything was done within 5 business days. So they were very pleased with us in our response time.
Great.
Commissioner Kelly, do you have anything?
I also attended FLC, although during the Doge workshop, I went to a much less helpful one on, it was supposed to be on e-bikes and scooters, and they talked about their micro-mobility plans, and it was completely just sidelined and derailed. But I did attend a legislative update that I thought was very helpful. You know, FLC, of course, our priorities at the city level that are carried through by the Florida League of Cities as well as the National League of Cities is our protection of home rule, which is what has, you know, Live Local has preempted our ability to make decisions on behalf of our residents. And so that is a big priority focus for FLC to really see what, you know, continue that the workings to make sure that we protect our home rule and our right to make our decisions for our residents instead of some politician in Lake County who has no idea, you know, what Boynton Beach is about. And so it was important to see what the priorities are, but in particular, it was, you know, pushing towards Live Local, working on infrastructure updates for our municipalities. So there is a lot of good that the Florida League of Cities is doing. If you go on their website, you can look. But you know, they work really hard, and their lobbyists work really hard to maintain our ability to do what we do for our residents. So, so that was good to see that they are, you know, they're working really hard to, you know, to continue to protect our ability to do what we do. So, so it was good stuff. But sorry, I missed the Doge one. I heard it was good.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Without being redundant to the FLC, it was a tremendous conference, and I'd like to talk to our deputy city manager before I discuss some of the ideas that I picked up here. But I will say that they gave us some of the bills that failed and why they didn't pass and what's going to come up the next go-around, which will affect us. It was outstanding from the standpoint of other cities are having a similar problem that we're having. Isn't that amazing? And so it's good to hear what other cities have done to resolve those problems that we're having, and that we can probably look at them and implement them ourselves. I'm glad that we had a majority of our board at the FLC, and those who couldn't make it because of job or whatever, the next time you can make it, it really is worth your while to attend those meetings. I can recall one particular colleague who is now talking like an expert because he's attending these functions, and I'm very proud of that. I also had the opportunity today to attend the water plants, and turn that off. And the water plant out west, and the water plant here in the east are working just fine. It was good to see where our taxpayers' dollars are going, but we also had the opportunity to see that the equipment, the infrastructure at the west plant and the east plant are just outdated. There once was a time 20 years ago that the west plant was state of the art. People were coming from other countries to take a look at us to see what we were doing with our water. And now, because of depreciation and life expectancy of that infrastructure, we need to really take a close look now at what we need to do and set aside some funding to update and make sure that our water stays at the level that we want it. It is now. I don't want you to go away thinking our water is substandard. That's not what I'm saying. Our water is excellent, okay? But in order to keep it that way, we're going to have to make some investments. So I believe staff and this council is going to be looking at those issues so that we can stay at the top, because it doesn't get any better than your drinking water. And we have some of the best in the county, in the state, okay? So I'll be talking with staff about those ideas. Thank you.
Don't want to be redundant about another conference, but I was able to attend a different conference, the National League of Cities. We talked about infrastructure, leveraging artificial intelligence and other technology to make permitting and other processes more efficient, to reduce red tape, and to help new businesses, which in turn leads to economic development. Really got great information from multiple presenters from multiple different states, as well as different elected officials from other cities, who shared ideas and opportunities that they're actually implementing in their cities that we can take here that are relevant to Boynton Beach. I also did a tour of the water plant, and it was really great to see the investment in our infrastructure, but also the need to continue to invest in that infrastructure going forward and to do it in a proactive manner. Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have any announcements, community and special events and presentations, so we're going to move on to the public audience portion of the meeting. As always, it is 3 minutes per person and non-transferable. The same rules always apply. The speaker must address the commission as a whole, not any individual on the dais or in the audience. Insults, personal attacks, and disruptions are not permitted, and you may be asked to leave the meeting should you violate these rules. After we concluded in person, we will then move on to online comments. Just a reminder, if you came in a little late, the commission is not considering annexation this evening. I do ask anyone who plans to speak to go ahead and line up on each side of the wall so that we can keep both mics moving quickly. So if you are speaking, come on down. Sir?
Good afternoon. Mike McCray, is this thing on?
Is your mic on?
Good afternoon.
There you go.
This afternoon, I was here to hear your charter review presentation. It was nice to see two former representatives up on the dais. That was former Mayor Jerry Taylor and former Commissioner David Katz. One observation I noticed tonight is that your chairs, they're too close on this side. I don't know who's responsible for spreading them out, but they need to be spread out. Legroom is better than that on an airplane. Okay, I'd like to say to you all, it was a privilege tonight to sit and listen, to hear you all say that you all attended conferences, you learned something, you brought something back for the citizens of Boynton to hear. I'm glad you all are sharpening your tools to be better supporters and also be better workers and doers of the fiduciary that we have displayed with each of you. In regards to DOJ, I listened tonight and it says that they can only offer recommendations. They cannot make anyone or a city do whatever they want to do, but they said one thing they can do when it comes to the state, they can withhold funds. So be due diligence and careful about what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please. And we will alternate.
Hi, can you hear me? Yes. I'm a resident of Boynton Beach for about 3 years now.
Can you please state your name?
Oh, I'm sorry, Edward Nesbitt. I live in Boynton Beach, Leisureville.
Okay.
And we've had a problem with cut-through traffic in Leisureville, apparently for a long time, long before I moved in there. But recently, well, I shouldn't say recently, in 24 November, I got a petition from the city to have them do an evaluation on the cut-through streets. I followed up 4 months later, and they told me they were still working on it. And as of now, it's been about 8 months. And even our property manager has called and got no response. So I'm here trying to figure out what can I do next.
Someone will be in touch with you on that. Kevin, if you're in
Have
the
a
audience,
Q&A.
can you address it with him offline? Yeah, offline. Kevin can talk to you about it in private.
Okay. Kevin?
Yes, thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next, please.
Susan Oyer, Boynton Beach. So first of all, I'm going to say no to AI because besides the fact it takes away jobs, ultimately, it has a horrendously god-awful impact on the environment, the amount of energy that it takes to run these. And if you are paying any attention to what's going on worldwide with AI, these data centers are massive energy hogs, massive fuel hogs, and we really should not be endorsing that in such an eco-sensitive state. Second of all, I'm still waiting on my environmental impact study on the Boynton Forest. It still hasn't come out. I'm still waiting. And the third thing I want to bring up is as we're looking at the charter and going forward with the strategic plan and comprehensive plan, whatever you guys are working on, let me point out that we need to take the TOD out for the train station because 7 cities were selected to be part of this Tri-Rail Coastal Link train station. Boynton Beach is not one of them. Quickly, it is North Miami Beach, Miami, Hollywood, Oakland Park, Wilton Manors, Delray Beach, and Palm Beach Gardens. And my understanding was Delray wasn't even trying to get this. So we're not part of it, so it needs to for sure come out. And while I've never been much of an advocate for the city owning everything, I think Commissioner Turkin has made this point very obvious, and it's very true. Obviously, our city needs to be our strategic plan, is buying up every empty piece of land so we can control what gets put here, so we have no more tall buildings coming in this city. And that gets me to the whole train station issue. We have been lied to, defrauded, however you want to describe the word. I personally like fraud that comes from that city employee in planning who has been pushing this train station fantasy that we were going to get a Tri-Rail Coastal Link station. We were never under consideration. Tri-Rail is fighting for their life right now, and it is desperately needed. It is not needed to be a coastal link. And this person needs to stop perpetuating this lie. We need to take it out of our comprehensive plan. We need to take it out of our strategic plan. We have no chance of getting that train station. They've already decided it's not us. This came up back on July 21st at the county meeting. And so why are we continuing to perpetuate this myth? The big issue is it's going to cost $500 million, which is $500 million to start the Tri-Coastal Link. That's not going to happen. There's no money for it. The county is not going to reenact the 1-cent sales tax that ends this year to make this happen. They're also pumping $2.3 billion into the turnpike and $1 billion into I-95 interchanges. There is no money for this, so please take this out as you move forward on the strategic plan and the comprehensive plan. This is not possible in any way, shape, or form. Get it the heck out. Stop letting it be your deciding factor on projects. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Mark Stevenson, Royal Manor, Boynton Beach, Gateway 500. That's where we live. I have a concern. My wife and I served in the military and the DOD for 21 years. We were stationed in some really cool places. We raised 4 kids and 4 dogs. We're on our 4th right now. Sunday was a very bad day for us. So we decided to do something we used to do all the time. Let's go to the beach. Great. Went down to the beach. And I don't have access to the beach because I have a dog. This is the only place I've been in my 65 years that I can't take my dog on a beach. I don't know why. The beach is filthy. It's got garbage all over it, has seaweed all over it. I'm not really seeing anything that's telling me to, oh, we shouldn't be on that beach. Okay, this is Boynton Beach. Okay, I would like to use that beach. There are other people. I take my money and spend it in Jupiter when I want to take her to the ocean. Or I go down to Boca and spend it down there. I'm not spending it here. Why is that? And why do our beaches look, I don't want to use a colorful metaphor, bad? We don't rake them. You've got dead seaweed all over the place. You got garbage all over the place. There used to be a concession stand down there. I don't know what happened to that. You know, kind of just asking a question. Now, as a Navy guy, I also like to give kudos. I like to give Bravo Zulus, as they're called. Today we had a water main break at Sea Meadow, bad one, okay? I want to thank PW for coming on the scene, lickety-split, Johnny on the spot, patching a hole and getting us back online in under 3.5 hours. Incredibly impressive. Okay, I want to thank you for that one. As far as the beach thing goes, we're a beach town, but we have no beach. It's tiny, it's small. We need to get that fixed. And I don't understand. I think humans are a lot more dirtier than dogs are. Okay, I'm just kind of asking for just some place to go for a walk when the day's bad. That's it. That's all. Anyhow, thanks very much. See you later.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Dominic Masala. I'm from Village Royale and Green in Boynton Beach. The reason I'm here is that I spoke previously with Commission A. We have First Court, which goes from Gateway Boulevard to 26th Avenue. It's been like a racetrack. In other words, cars are coming through a high speed. With some luck, I was able to have speed bumpers put in on June 19, I think, around that time. From people from the city of Boynton Beach. But the problem some of the problem was solved, so a lot of the cars were slowing down. But what's happening now, there's 4 buildings on that span between Gateway and 26th Avenue, and they're going right through to eliminating the speed bumpers, and they go right through the parking lot. And that's worse than speeding now, because people are coming out and can easily be run over by these cars. So that's a situation that has to be eliminated somehow, some way. My suggestion, talking again with Commissioner A, which he was very kind to talk, that gave us the time to talk to him, said, why can't we just also look into putting sidewalks, because there is no sidewalks. We take care of the fourth quarter just like it's our own home. We're not dependent city. We cut the grass, we put the flowers, and we're very proud of what we're doing there. But the thing is that sidewalk will eliminate people from walking in the street, because what's happening there now is if they got to go to the clubhouse, they got to walk on the street. If they got to go to the pool, they got to walk on the streets. So that increases the chance of somebody getting hit. And we are the 55 and over community, and they use walkers and they use wheeling chairs. So it's really something that I would appreciate if we can look into it and get some of the response. If nothing else can be done, but the bumpers that they put in, they have to be lowered. They're too dangerous because cars, they still using them, they reduce the speed, but I have a lot of complaints about that. And by lowering, maybe they decided not to drive it to the parking lot. I will appreciate it if something can be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, Kimberly Chase, I'm from Grayson Heights. I first spoke here a year ago, specifically asking Tom Turkin for help with the noise nuisances caused by the short-term rentals in our area, after being denied and dismissed by code and law enforcement for 2 years. Adam and I spoke about trauma-informed care and crisis intervention training for police and city employees, which is sorely lacking. I appreciated his time very much and commend Adam for his efforts. While there's been improvement, there's many more resources and training available at no cost to the city. Not all of Boynton Beach Police treats citizens with kindness and dignity. Exactly what does protective care mean to all of you? And what does a mental health patient look and talk like exactly? And I know, Vice Mayor Hayes, this is an area kind of you have a passion for. Think about that, folks. If one tries to speak with victim services of the Boynton Beach Police Department, there's a small sign and in tiny 12-inch type, it says, "Call Del Rey." Wow. Imagine I was raped and got up the nerve to walk into the police station and I saw that sign. Or lost both parents in a car wreck, or my child drowned, or maybe I'm the victim of bullying and a drug encounter. or neurodivergent, there's no help at this police station. Maybe you're a person struggling with family, work, or financial crisis. Who could you turn to? There is a resource, and it's called 988, servicing all 50 states for the past 3 years. You can call or text. It's a crisis hotline where you'll be put in touch with a trained human immediately. Anyone can call confidentially, and it's free. There are options for veterans and LGBTQ. NAMI is also a resource right up there far away in West Palm Beach. It's the National Alliance on Mental Health. NAMI is committed to advancing efforts to reimagine crisis response in our country. We are calling for a standard of care in every community that provides a continuum of crisis services that end the revolving door of ER visits, arrests, incarcerations, and homelessness. We believe that every person in crisis and their families should receive a humane response that treats them with dignity and connects them to the appropriate and timely care. Again, 988 is a suicide and crisis lifeline. It's available seven days a week, 24 hours, and anybody can call. It's a life-saving service, and you can also reach NAMI 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can text NAMI, and 211 is another resource number to call or text. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Jim Sizik. I'm from Palm Beach, Leachville, but today I'd like to speak to you as your chairman of your Senior Advisory Board. For the mayor and for my commissioner, I know that they know how passionate I was and how frustrated I was several years ago when we were dealing with some racial tension and some frustration in these chambers. And it became my obsession when I got on the Senior Advisory Board to make sure that any time we did something, we had a balanced approach to it across 4 districts. We are in the process right now, and it's not nearly life-changing at all. You have far more difficult things to worry about right now. But right now, there's an event going on called the Senior Prom. It was dedicated to bring together 150 to 200 seniors, a cross-section of our community, to come together on September 12th at the Women's Senior Club. Marketing went out a little bit late. That's not my concern. My concern is the fact that right now, with 3.5 weeks to go, First District is pretty much full, the allocation that I wanted to do. But the other districts, nobody. I don't know if that's the fact that they don't want any part of it. I know that I've shared with the commissioners, the paths and the concern that I have. I really want the community to come together. I really want all of the seniors that attend this event to be spokesmen for the city across 4 districts. I want them to meet the commissioners. I want them to meet the mayor. I want them to have a good time and prove, in my mind, that the city recognizes the value of our seniors across 4 districts. And I would just ask, in the interim time, if you have an opportunity to talk to your constituency, please reach out. Let them know that this is not just fluff. This has some underbelly to it that really has some residual effects that can really affect all of us. And I would ask you, if in fact 3 weeks to go, I know that right now we're charging $10 a head. I hope to God that that's not the reason why people aren't signing up for this. But if the determination is made that you have to reach out and offer 40, 50 people in each of your districts a free ticket to bring them together, I think that the end result would be so beneficial for our community, and I think it would have a long-term, far-reaching effect, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, please.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Riddy. Is now a time to maybe bring up some concerns about things on the consent agenda, Mayor? Okay. My first one is item 6B, which sounds like a wonderful program. It has a pilot program to help the police deal with mental health issues. It sounds like a wonderful idea. My concern is that I hope that the entire police force gets trained. There's got to be a severe training that comes along with this, much as like the school board taught everybody in conflict resolution. This is a beneficial thing. I support it. I just want to make sure that, they're trained. My next question has to do with item 7B, which is the Not Worldwide Wedding Planning organization that wants to utilize the Women's Club, which is also a great idea. My concern would be that I don't want to see this be an exclusive contract that excludes other people from, planning their wedding there just because they don't want to use this particular organization. So that would be my concern, that it not be exclusive. Also, is there a cut? What is the city's cut? Or this organization going to be making more money than we are, utilizing our public building? It's kind of like privatizing one of our facilities. So those are my concerns. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, and we will be moving to see if there's anyone online. And there is no one online, so we will be closing public comment. Moving on to the advisory board and appointments. We have an appointment that was tabled at the last two meetings that would need to be removed from the table. Is there a motion, or are we leaving it
Motion
tabled?
to remove.
Second.
Vice Mayor Hay moved to remove from the table. Commissioner Turkin made the second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. So this was for the Historic Preservation Board, correct? Was that yours,
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz?
Yes, I do see another application that came in that was prior to the meeting, but maybe too recent for it to be on the agenda. So I wanted to be able to see that application before making my appointment.
Great. So there was the Historic Preservation Board, and there are 3 regular positions and 2 alternate, and that was going to you. Second nomination goes to Vice Mayor Hay.
I'm sorry, if she's not making a nomination,
put it-
we need to table
Table
it.
it again.
Motion to table.
Second.
Commissioner Turkin made the motion to table. Commissioner Cruz made a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. So we are now moving on to the second nomination, goes to Vice Mayor Hay. Would you like to?
I don't think there is anyone.
There isn't
I
anyone.
don't see anything.
What are these 2 for?
These are ones that we received after.
So those are after, so none of the
Yeah, those will be
applicants have
on the next
been.
meeting, right.
Okay, so we don't have anything on that one either for you, sir. So there are no applicants for the following boards, but we encourage residents to apply if you're interested. The Art Advisory Board, the Building Board of Adjustment and Appeals, Education and Youth Advisory Board, Library Board, and Senior Advisory Board.
Question.
Yes.
On that last one that we tabled, was it because it didn't make it in time to get on the, can we not make an exception since the person is already written it?
Commissioner Hay, Vice Mayor Hay, I recently read the ordinance, and the way our ordinance is written, the application must be vetted by the clerk's office before it can be considered by the commission. Unless we change that ordinance, we need to follow that.
Okay.
And then is this where you wanted to put your addition in for the 1K?
Yes. Yes. Do you want it read?
Me or
by the
him?
clerk?
Okay. They want you to speak up, sir.
Oh, okay. The clerk, would you read that for the records, the one that turned in for the Boynton Beach?
Yes. Vice Mayor has requested that $1,000 be donated to the Boynton Beach High School football team.
Motion approved.
Second.
Commissioner Turkin made the motion to approve the 1K for the Boynton Beach High School football, and Commissioner Kelly made the second. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We'll now be moving on to the consent agenda. If my colleagues want to pull any items from consent, let's begin to my left, Commissioner Turkin.
I'm okay, Mayor, thank you.
Commissioner Kelly.
I'm good, thank you.
Vice Mayor Hay.
I'm good.
And Commissioner Cruz.
Not for me, thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Turkin moved to approve the consent agenda. Vice Mayor Hay second on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We will now move on to consent bids and purchases. If my colleagues would like to pull any items, let's begin to my right with Commissioner Cruz.
Not for me, thank you.
Vice Mayor Hay.
None.
Commissioner
No.
Kelly.
No, thank you.
And Commissioner Turkin.
None, motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Commissioner Turkin moved to approve the consent bids and purchases. Commissioner Kelly second on the motion. All those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed say nay. Motion passes unanimously. We have two public hearing items. A public comment will be permitted on both of these. I'll turn to the clerk to read 8A into the record, please. This is a second readings, and for staff, if there's been any changes, come down.
On behalf of the city attorney's office, there's been no changes, but she needs to read it.
Proposed ordinance number 25-006 on second reading, an ordinance of the City Commissioner of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Part 2, Chapter 27, Article 1, Section 27-2, Board or Committee Member Selection, Organization, Qualifications, Term, establishing limited authority to waive certain appointment requirements, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for an effective date.
Any comments or questions from the commission?
Are there any changes from the first reading?
Vice Mayor Head, there's been no changes.
Motion.
Okay, we have public comment. Again, each person has 3 minutes.
David Catsmore Beach. Just before I start, it's been a good day for me. Sometimes you think you're on an island by yourself, and then you find out that it's not the case. So it's really been a good day. This ordinance, and I'm sure staff has worked very hard on it, but I think it's useless, pointless. The reason why you're here is because of previous commissions that created this mess. First of all, there was a woman, Betty Rowe, because of term limits. She was eliminated from the Parks and Rec Board, and the person who was appointed to take her place didn't even live in the city. That's absurd. So I think having term limits on these boards is ridiculous. These are volunteers. If they're willing to serve for 20 years, God bless them. If you don't want them on there, the next time they come up, you don't have to appoint them. There's no need to have term limits and get rid of that institutional knowledge. The other thing is that, not part of this ordinance, but part of the board ordinance in general, is that you guys have advise and consent on the chairs and the vice chairs. That's absurd, and it adds to the time on your agenda. There's nobody who knows those folks better than the people on those boards. There's no need for you guys, and with all respect, I don't know anybody who goes to those meetings. Maybe doesn't even read the minutes. When I served on the P&D board as chair, sometimes there was a member of the commission there because of a controversial item. But usually, commission members do not go to those meetings. So who knows them better than the members of those boards? And there's no reason for the commission to go, okay, yeah, we like your choice. And there's a reason why that happened, but I'm not going to go into that tonight. And the third thing is in relation to the boards, you really have to have it where it's people who live in the city who serve on these boards. Not somebody who lives out in West Boynton, not somebody who lives in Delray. That's ridiculous. We don't serve on their boards in Boca or West Palm. They shouldn't serve on our boards, determining and giving advice to this commission on what should happen in our city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Susan Oyer, Boynton Beach. Having sat on multiple boards for multiple years, I want to make sure you guys have something in there that says you're allowed to serve on more than one board and not just at somebody's discretion, but it can be a rule. You're always complaining that you don't have enough people on boards. This is a way to solve that problem. You have residents like me and a handful of other people who truly want to give back and volunteer our time and let us do that. I'm also going to agree with former Commissioner Katz, who was just speaking to issues 1 and 2. You know, you need to get rid of term limits. Betty Rowe is an amazing woman. No one knows Reckham Parks better than her. And that was embarrassing that we got rid of her and got her off the board. She needs to be back on if she wants to be on. You know, I was on boards for years. The institutional knowledge truly matters. You walk up, whether you love Barb or hate her, oh my gosh, her font of knowledge far exceeds anyone else in this city on historic preservation. She helped start the Arts Board. No one knows more than her. You want someone like that on your board. You want, whether you love me or hate me, you want someone like me on your board, or David, or any one of the, Jim Sisnick, any of these people who actively participate in this city on a regular basis. You want us on these boards, and you want to get rid of the term limits. I am a pro term limit person when it comes to elected officials, but not city boards, because they just serve such a great purpose. And this is a volunteer opportunity. This is not a political making points kind of thing. And yes, the second point former Commissioner Katz spoke to, I totally agree as well, but I don't need to sit there and rattle on about that. So thank you for your time. And I do disagree with number 3. We don't need anyone from West Palm.
Okay. Are there any further questions or comments from the commission?
Anyone online?
There is no one online.
No, I think I brought this up, to be frank, solely because of Betty Rowe. She had approached me about this, and what this does is it allows the opportunity for someone so committed, you know, to continue serving. You know, we've looked in the past, and we've seen people removed from boards by administrations, previous commissions, because of their political ideologies. You know, I don't think that's right. And so, you know, who's to say that, you know, you might have another person who doesn't live in the city that, you know, maybe involved themselves politically, you know, and harmed staff, right, through the media, didn't like that. I know that his family didn't appreciate that. I don't think that's a fair representation, especially if they don't live in the city. So I think I do like the acknowledging of living in the city, maybe even open that up to business owners. I think someone who invests so much money to produce jobs and to create destination, I think should have a say. You know, for me, it's they need to live in the city, or have a stake as far as business goes. And then also too, you know, if we have someone so committed, you know, and that truly just cares about serving and doesn't want to get into political nastiness, right? I think that person should have an opportunity to continue serving. And so that's why I brought this forward, is to have people like Betty Rose mentioned continue serving and maintain that institutional knowledge that doesn't have any ulterior motives.
Any other comments from the commission?
Yes. You know, when we look at our committees, we've been having challenges for years trying to get people to volunteer and fill the vacancies that we have on these boards, and I don't see anybody waiting in line to break the door down to get on these boards. So I think what was just stated has merit in terms of if we don't have someone for that board that's trying to get on, don't eliminate the one who's trying to serve. I just feel we should allow them to go ahead on and serve. I do believe in that. But as far as term limits for the commissioners, I do feel that that's needed, as has been stated. But you know, if you own a business in Boynton Beach, then why not serve on a Boynton Beach committee? I just feel that you have a voice because you have a business. But if you live outside, say in Boca Raton, and that your only affiliation is just to come to Golden Corral on occasion, then no, you should not be getting on one of our committees. So that's why I agree with what's been said by our speakers.
This ordinance addresses that. It allows you to have that waiver so that you have the ability to extend those term limits and do the various things that you were seeking to do without having to remove them completely. Because there are some boards where you may want term limits and some boards where you may not. And this waiver, when the applicant comes before you, it is appropriate for this board to consider their residency, their significant contacts in the city, whether they have a business and all of those various things. And that's exactly what this ordinance is doing.
Okay, so we do have that power to waiver at our option.
Yes, sir.
Waive certain appointment requirements.
Right.
We're good.
So how do we?
If there's nothing else.
Motion to approve.
May we have a motion?
Second.
Commissioner Turkin moved to approve ordinance.
second. Oh, she
Oh,
seconded.
yeah, she seconded. Commissioner Turkin moved to approve ordinance number 25-006, and Commissioner Kelly made the second the motion. Let's turn to the city clerk for a roll call.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin,
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hay,
Yes.
Mayor Shelton.
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
We are now moving on to the clerk to read 8B into the record.
Proposed ordinance number 25-011, second reading, an ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 2, Article 3, Elections of the City Code Ordinances to retitle Section 2-42 to read Candidate Requirements and Qualifications, Official Ballot, and Filing Fees, establishing qualifying requirements, modifying the number of petitions required to run for office and the amount of the campaign filing fee, and creating Section 2-48 entitled Campaign Signs, Bonds, Penalties, and providing for and financial responsibility, providing for codification, providing for severability, providing for conflicts, and providing for effective date.
This is the second reading. Staff, have there been any changes?
No, Mayor, there's been no changes.
Are there any comments or questions from the commission? I'm just happy to see these changes taking effect.
Agreed.
Anyone else have any comments?
There's some public comment.
Oh, public comment? Anyone? Anyone online? Come on down, sir.
Not online, I'm offline. McCray here.
No, that's okay.
Thank you. I'm glad to see that you all have put the qualifying requirements in because that's long overdue. Thank you.
And no comment?
Approve?
Motion to approve?
Oh, thank you.
You made the first one, okay.
Second.
Commissioner Kelly moved to approve ordinance number 25-001, and Vice Mayor Hay seconded the motion. Let's turn to the city clerk for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin,
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz, Vice Mayor Hay,
Yes.
Mayor Shelton.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. We are going to move on to the regular agenda. I will turn to the city clerk to read 10A into the record, please.
Proposed ordinance number 25-12, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, repealing Section 16-44 of the City Code of Ordinance entitled Gambling, providing for a codification, conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Staff, if you could please begin your presentation.
Yes, it came to one of the things the city attorney's office has been doing, as you know, we've been here a year and a half. So as different ordinances are brought up, either through our reading them or by staff, we are repealing ones that are redundant. This has been preempted by state statute with regard to gambling. So, again, we're just repetitively cleaning up the process.
Are there any comments or questions from the commission? No?
Motion to approve.
Are there any public comments?
Second.
Public comment first.
First reading.
There are no public comments, okay. Commissioner Kelly, move to approve ordinance number 25-012 on first reading. Vice Mayor Habe, second in the motion. Let's turn to the city clerk for the roll call.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hay. Mayor Shelton.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Moving on, I'll turn to the city clerk to read 10B into the record.
No, actually, there's 25, ordinance number 25-14 is also under 10A. They were actually going together, but the clerk read one. So if you could, we need to read proposed ordinance 25-14 into the record. That's under A.
Proposed ordinance 25-14, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, repealing Article 12, Section 15-128 through 15-133 of Chapter 15 of the City Code of Ordinances, which establish and revise the prohibition of loitering in the City of Boynton Beach, providing for codification, conflict, severability, and an effective date.
Have there been any changes?
No, this is also preempted by state law, so we are repealing this. And there's also some constitutional limitations on who we can regulate with regard to meeting. So we are repealing this as well.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Cruz made the motion to approve. Vice Mayor made the second. Vice Mayor Hay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion, let's turn to city clerk for roll call.
Mayor Shelton.
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly.
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin.
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hay.
Yes.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, moving on. And now we're moving on to 10B. For you to read it into the record, please.
Okay. Proposed ordinance number 25-015, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 10, Article 3, entitled Abandoned Property by repealing Article 3 in its entirety and replacing it with a new Article 3 entitled Abandoned Property, amending Chapter 12 entitled Reserved by, renaming it Foreclosed, Vacant, and Unimproved Property Registration Program, and creating new sections thereunder, providing for conflict, severability, codification, and providing an effective date.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. The purpose of the ordinance amendment, the abandoned property ordinance is being requested to be repealed and replaced to improve efficiency, enhance enforcement, and better address the community's concerns related to vacant and abandoned properties. The revised ordinance also streamlines the overall vacant property / foreclosure registration and enforcement process, reducing response time. The ordinance has been updated to comply with the state law notice changes. The abandoned property and vacant property foreclosure registration sections have been separated and reorganized, now make it both more clear. Some of the updated highlights include, for the abandoned property, Section 10-15. Oh, yeah, I need that. Thank you, sorry. Probably wouldn't go through that. Okay. Section 10-15, procedure for abandoned or lost property on public property was amended to handle inoperable motor vehicles and lost property found on public property in accordance with the procedures set forth in section of the state statute 705.03. The city can also regulate dialect and nuisance vehicles located in public waters under the state statute as well. Section 10-52, procedure for abandoned property on private property was amended to reflect the notice language changes in the state statute. It also reduces the days and administrative process, resulting in a more efficient process. Foreclosure and vacant property registration program. A new provision was added requiring a registration of vacant properties, not just those classified as abandoned or foreclosured, to ensure earlier oversight and to help prevent potential blight before it becomes a larger issue. Change the annual vacant property registration requirement from a yearly payment structure to a semi-annual payment structure, which allows for more frequent updates and provide tracking of the property's status. Any questions?
Any questions from the commission?
Mayor? Thank you, Candace. Quick, can you go back to the last slide? What, when you're talking about the annual vacant property registration, can you just briefly explain, is that property that maybe somebody doesn't live it? Like, can you explain what that means and then what this payment structure is, just so that, for clarity of the public?
Correct, sure. So currently we have a registration for foreclosed properties. This would also include the vacant properties where maybe the property owner owned multiple properties in the city, but for whatever reason, it's sitting vacant for a long time. So the ordinance will state that does not apply to people going on vacation for like a month, 2 months. It's basically if it's sitting vacant for around 6 months or more, then those are the properties we want to, have registered. That way we can keep an eye on them, because we have multiple properties around the city that they're not in foreclosure. There's nothing wrong with it financially. It's just sitting vacant for one reason or the other.
And so who would report or who would register? Because if it's in foreclosure, most of the time that owner is not. So I'm just wondering who's then responsible for applying for registration, and then who's responsible for any fees? Would it just get tacked on if it's a foreclosure and the owner is, has moved on, which we know that, especially when the real estate market gets a little wonky, they have moved on, or it was owned by, somebody who wasn't homesteaded and they're not losing their home, it was an investment, let's say. So then who's responsible for this registration? And then what happens with that fee? Does the city just keep, if nobody's registering these properties, I guess I'm just trying to understand the process on how we accomplish this.
Yeah. So the foreclosure abandoned property registration has been around for many years. We've had a company for the past, I don't know, probably 10 years. We had one company, and then we have a new company 2 years ago come in effect. And that company actually sought for these. They look for these. They're the ones that ask for them to register. They look for foreclosure properties. It is the banks, if they acquire the property, this is the bank's responsibility to then register. There's a $300 registration fee, which $150 goes towards the company managing it because they do all the legwork basically. And then the other $150 comes to us. So as far as the vacant property registration, we don't have a set fee for them. We can use the same company because they are both for foreclosure and vacant properties. But we would have to, if this is approved, form an application for vacant properties and then assess a fee.
And what would be the benefit of registering and paying a fee? Like, I'm just trying to understand why somebody would, want to register their property. Like, what are we offering? What benefit is it to be registered with the city as a foreclosure?
It's a benefit to the city, so that way we can have an eye on them, track them, and make sure they don't let their properties go out of control with landscaping, painting, making sure that it's still not an eyesore to the community.
Does this also, if it is an abandoned property and we have people that are loitering on there, or, I got a call on a Saturday night, it was an abandoned property on 4th, and there was like 30 people in the backyard. Does this allow the city or the cops to take action on those two? Because at the time there was no trespassing, something or other, and so nothing could be done. It was like, okay, just leave. Does it have anything to do with that? Because we do have that going a lot in our district.
That is something this doesn't particularly address that, but obviously there would be a code enforcement complaint that then they would check to see if in fact that property is registered, and if not, then they could be cited.
Yeah.
Right, the ordinance does provide for maintenance requirements and security requirements.
Okay.
But not to the extent, I think that you're mentioning, so they would be citing them.
Okay.
I do want to mention, after this agenda was published, 10-52B relating to removal of abandoned property from private property indicates 10 days. It actually should be 5 days, so there will be a change between first and second reading. That was a scrivener's error, so we just wanted to let you know.
Any other questions or comments from the commission? No, there's no public comments for the first reading.
Right.
If there's nothing else, Commissioner Turkin made the motion to approve.
Second.
Do we have- And Commissioner Kelly made the second for ordinance number 25-015 on first reading. So let's turn to the city clerk for roll call. Thank you,
Commissioner Kelly?
Candace.
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin?
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Yes.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
So we have decided to table C. Do we need a motion to do that?
We need a
Motion to
motion.
table 10C.
Do we have a date certain? To what date? Or just tabling it for now?
Let's table it for now. I mean, we should be able to do it by the next meeting, but let's not have
Okay.
a date certain, just in case.
Commissioner Kelly made a motion to table 10C. Vice Mayor Hay made a second motion. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay.
Madam Clerk?
Oh, is it it's a roll call?
No, it's not for this, not for the table. Just Commissioner Turkin has left the dais, just
got
for
it.
your record.
Thank you.
Oh, motion passes 4-0. Okay. I am also now going to turn to the city clerk to read in 10D into the record, please.
Proposed ordinance number 25-017, first reading. An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, correcting errors in the legal descriptions contained in ordinance 23-006, approving the abandonment of the 225-foot-long segment of the 20-foot-wide right-of-way located within the northern section of the proposed The Pierce Development approximately 175 feet south of East Boynton Beach Boulevard center line, AKA North Alley, the 225-foot-long segment of the 40-foot-wide Northeast First Avenue right-of-way, and the 335.02-foot-long segment of the 20-foot-wide right-of-way located within the southern section of the proposed The Pierce Development, approximately 150 feet north of East Ocean Avenue, center line, AKA South Alley, authorizing the city manager to execute an amended disclaimer which shall be recorded with the ordinance in the public records of Palm Beach County, Florida, providing an effective date and for all other purposes.
Staff, if you could begin your presentation, please.
Good evening, Amanda Radigan, Planning and Development Director. I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce our new Division Director of Engineering and City Engineer, William Leidy, who will be taking on this item. William comes with us with over 22 years' experience with both public and private experience. He's been with us for about a month now, and we're very excited to have him. So I wanted to take the opportunity to introduce him, and he will be covering this item.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. So this is a change of 3 minor changes in the ordinance for the piers. There was one that had a 5-foot discrepancy, one was just a legal description minor, and then another one had a literally 1/10 of a foot change. The applicant is here to discuss or take any questions you have, but that is what this ordinance is.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the commission?
No, just want to say welcome to the city. William, thanks for bringing your experience here. We're going to keep you super busy. There's a lot going on.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'm happy to be here.
Anyone else? There are no public comments for the first reading. There will be an opportunity at the second reading. If there's nothing else, may we have a motion to approve proposed ordinance number 25017?
Second.
Vice Mayor Hay moved to approve ordinance number 25-017 on first reading. Commissioner Kelly seconded the motion. Let's turn to the city clerk for a roll call.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin?
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Yes.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Moving on, I'll turn to the city clerk to read 10E into the record.
Proposed ordinance number 25-018, first reading, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Chapter 14, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Section 14-5, stopping, standing, parking, or storage prohibited in specified places, and creating new sections thereunder, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and providing an effective date.
Staff, could you begin your presentation?
Click it this time. Good evening again. Candace Stone, Code Enforcement Director. Purpose of this ordinance amendment: throughout the years, the city has received numerous complaints regarding vehicles parked on right-of-ways, interfering with the traffic flow, and multiple vehicles parked on lawns overnight, causing damage to swales and blight in the neighborhood. The city currently current parking regulations under section 14-5 have not been comprehensively updated since 2004. To give the city authority to regulate citizens' safety concerns regarding vehicles interfering with the traffic flow, damaging swales, and blight in the neighborhoods. To provide clarity and consistency as to residents' ability to park or stop on certain areas located within the city. Some highlighted changes. There's removal of language allowing vehicles to park on the right-of-way. We added language prohibiting parking, stopping, standing at any time on the right-of-way, public or private yards, swales, and easements adjacent to paved or unpaved roads or streets. We added an exception allowing temporary parking in yards for social or other events held at a residence, provide such parking does not exceed 8 hours in a 24-hour period. We also at last minute updated the crosswalks. We added some more language about sidewalks in front of residential and commercial properties throughout the city to help enforcement on those.
You got it.
In the last 24 hours, I have been literally blown up about this for First and Second Avenue, and I believe you have too. And I love this, right? I love cleaning up the neighborhood. I do have some questions, though. My neighbor across the street has her senior citizen mother coming, and she said, is she not going to be allowed to park, right? So at the time, there was not a sidewalk in front of their home, and now there is, and so the tail end of the car would be out from their driveway into the sidewalk. So I don't want the good people being punished that have the clean yards and have families in only 8 hours to think that we do need to maybe work that out just a little bit more, because her mom's staying for 5 days. Does that mean her mom can't park there for, so you want to chime in? Because I know you've been getting blown up too.
So first, I know this was brought up. I talked to the police chief about it, Andrew. And I said, this is great. Would love to have conversation. Love having this in front of us. Let's make sure people are noticed first.
Yes.
Didn't happen. I don't like that at all. But I do like the intent of this. The big thing for me is that we have, and this might be specific to Forest Park, if there's going to be any construct of sidewalks in the future and other non-HOA residents, what you're going to have is this situation that we've endured over the last few days, where someone who purchased a home here didn't have a sidewalk. The city then came in, built the sidewalks. Hey, we're building sidewalk here, get over it, right? Even though it's their property. Now they are being punished because the city built a sidewalk, obviously for whatever reason. I want to eliminate the sidewalk aspect of this. If we have it in the swale, I understand. If it's obstructing the road, I understand. If there's a bunch of inoperable vehicles, where the cars are overflowing into the road because there's so many, totally understand. What I don't want is that people in the neighborhood, a lot of them are teachers, a lot of them, one was a deputy, and, I get a phone call that he's got this fine already, when I'm under the impression that there was going to be a notice sent, and that wasn't done. And I understand that the fine was an old ordinance, right, that currently stands today. 100% get that. I just ask that you guys be empathetic and put yourself in my shoes, where we had these conversations. We agreed that there was going to be notice when the city manager had brought this up last time. However, that was completely disregarded, I don't think intentionally. I find it interesting, and I find it inconvenient that this did indeed happen. And I'll save my sentiment for offline with the city manager in regards to that. But I don't want people to get punished for just existing. And as the mayor mentioned, a lot of these people do keep up with the yards. They're hardworking people. They purchased these homes when there were no sidewalks. Then the city came in, established these, and now they're being punished. So I don't want to see, I don't know what kind of language we could have to craft that.
If I can clarify, our existing parking ordinance has always prohibited blocking any sidewalk. And what we have done, let me just clarify, please, real quick. What we have done is actually added language so that the resident can understand that that includes blocking a sidewalk over a driveway, because it's an ADA violation.
I'm going to challenge you on that I've lived in this neighborhood. I lived in Forest Park since 2012, on my street since 2017, and not once have I seen or gotten myself or my neighbors a citation, let alone a fine from this ordinance. So I just find it, it's amusing to me that this is all comes all of a sudden super fast, right? And I'm looking at this from the lens of the taxpayer, right? Because on my street, there is no sidewalks.
Right.
So the same place where I'm parking my vehicle, right, or a friend's vehicle, whatever, my neighbor across the street, because there's a sidewalk there, he's getting punished.
Right, mine too.
I have one question.
I get that. What I'm asking for, if it's the will of this body, to maybe eliminate that sidewalk, or maybe we look at certain hours. I don't know, because I wake up, 5 this morning and I look across the street and there's a minivan parked east and west, blocking the whole driveway.
Same on my street.
What if this man needed to get to work immediately for something? What if something happened to his daughter and he needed to rush over to Bethesda? Now they got to play musical chairs with their vehicles to move everything. And so because he was cited, and he's being a law-abiding citizen. So I don't think we're there. I think we need to try to get there. And again, I love the well intent for this. I just want to be pragmatic and make sure that I do my due diligence as a representative and bring this, from, not just my constituency, but my neighbor just across the street, because I just feel horrible that I don't have sidewalks and I have people parking in the same place. Yet he does have sidewalks, and here he is getting fined and getting phone calls.
I just need to clarify, was he cited for violating this ordinance or state statute? Because state statute also covers some of the ordinance.
It was an ordinance, and when I spoke with staff, it was the existing ordinance that we have.
Okay, that's what I
Right,
needed.
and which again, I've never gotten a phone call about, as long as I've been up here, I've never talked to a neighbor about this ordinance, and then all of a sudden, boom, before we even get the public notice out, right? And I think that's what people would appreciate, like, hey, if we do that with everything else, why are people getting fined, when we're not even, this is the first reading of a completely different ordinance, yet people are getting fined, on my street and the mayor's street before we're even having this discussion. And I've never seen this for as long as I lived in the neighborhood.
I also think that the 8 hours is just not right when you have family coming and staying with you and they're parked there. So I don't know if that's something else that we can finesse through, but I agree with Commissioner Turkin. It's just everyone was getting these tickets and there was no warning and there was no education. And I appreciate what you did with code enforcement when you put the notices on the door of saying, hey, these are the days and you're going to be warned, but they just all got tickets in the last 24 hours. So,
I'm not even aware
we
of
look like the bad guys on our streets.
I just want to see if I comprehend this. I believe this individual was cited under a previous ordinance. This is under an existing ordinance, and it wasn't code, is what you're saying.
We can't write tickets. That wasn't
No,
code
it
enforcement.
was law enforcement.
Oh, it was a PSA, so it was with the police
Yeah, but
department.
it's just kind of odd because, and I guess it has to be, it's okay. Is it obstructing certain things? And when you go to Southwest 9th and Southwest 10, yeah, there's 9 cars you can't get through. But if somebody is parked, and their tail end of their car is on the sidewalk that they now have, that they didn't have the sidewalk when they bought the home.
So code
it's a gray
enforcement
line.
had nothing to do, this was the police
Yeah.
department.
Code enforcement did great when they were telling people they warned them, they educated them, but that was not the case in
I'm
this
not sure
situation.
there's a way to get around the ADA aspect of this because the city's going to be liable for any sort of issues that come from that.
Well, it would be interesting to see if all the other streets got fined, because there would have been a lot of
City
tickets
would have
going
been
out.
liable 10 years, Dan.
I
Since 2012, the city's
I
should have been
agree with
liable.
what you guys are saying. What I'm trying to say is like what the city attorney says, the ADA aspect. I know whatever discretion is involved, that those PSAs or code enforcement officers didn't cite anyone, and they're doing it now. And the time frame is suspicious, is what you guys are, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm just saying that I don't know if the body would have the authority to lift that ADA requirement of not blocking the sidewalk because of the liability aspect. I mean, Shauna,
They
maybe you
better
can.
do it on Seacrest then.
But
They should
what
be pretty
happens-
busy going down, up and down the main road, but is there any way that the residents can be educated on this issue, that, hey, we're suddenly following the law, because it hasn't happened in 20 years since I've lived here?
Thank you.
Yeah, no, the notice aspect, and it's discretionary, so.
And
Obviously.
if this was such an urgent thing with Florida State statute and the ADA, why wasn't it done 3 years ago?
I'm
Why
not-
wasn't it done 10 years ago?
I'm not concerned about the ADA liability. We would not necessarily have liability for someone else parking their vehicle. I did look at some different language. But we were not changing that section. This came from the police department seeking clarification, requesting that we change it so people understood that you cannot block your own driveway. If this commission wants me to play with the language, because I think there is some language that I've seen which may be more flexible with regard to blocking a sidewalk in a driveway, we can certainly attempt to put that together and have that ready for second reading.
David hasn't spoken yet.
I hear the points that are being made, and I agree with listening to the concerns of our constituents. I wanted to ask, is there an opportunity for us to maybe remove that language since it's preempted by state law and really focus at the local level on things that are really public nuisances and things of that nature, as well as potentially having a maximum number of vehicles per household, depending on the size or number of rooms or things of that nature that could potentially, kind of accomplish that same goal without getting into maybe, a little too much in depth with state law and just letting the state handle that.
I would have to compare the differences between the state law and see exactly, it preempts us to a point, but it doesn't prohibit us from creating stricter limits than the state law, but I will have to compare the two. But again, when it says it applies to sidewalks, it's talking about the entirety of the sidewalk, not just the driveway. So if you eliminate blocking sidewalks, there's nothing to prevent someone from going to a business and just completely parking on the sidewalk. So we can't eliminate it entirely. Or, I mean, we could, if that's certainly what you want to do. Whatever the board decides to do. However you guys want us to handle it. If you want to go back to the drawing board and we can keep working it. The other option we could do is, we would like to continue, there are 3 amendment sections to this. Okay, the one that I believe you're talking about is 1B, relating to the sidewalks.
Yes.
We can strike that amendment right now and not make any changes. The problem is, it does just say sidewalks
But
in
couldn't
there.
it be done on something like, obviously, the main roads, which is more of the beautification problem, but some of these problem roads in our district don't have sidewalks.
Right.
They're just parked all over the place like the Wild West. So the people that have sidewalks are the ones that are getting penalized right now.
I think what I'm trying to say is, we can, from this ordinance update, eliminate that section from any changes, and then we can dive down into what you guys want to address the sidewalks with a message not to enforce that portion right now until further direction from the board. But we still have the other amendments we would like to go forward.
And also, if there is one to enforce or not, I think is it 1 car or is it 8 cars? Right, or 3 cars, like that's an obstructionist right there. But when it's 1 car, that's grandma coming over for Sunday dinner, and she's not allowed to park her car there. Where's she gonna go? So I just feel like, again, I would love to see how many tickets were given in Forest Park in the last 2 days and where they were given, because there should have been a ton of them given on 7th, 8th, 9th. But ironically, I've just been blown up from Southwest First Avenue and 2nd.
And I bet there was none given on the 95 wall, which is a city easement.
Horrific,
You
yeah.
know, I bet there was none given. So, and from the chief's lips, we will, and from the city manager's lips, we will send a notice before anything. And so my whole problem is, if the chief or a representative from the police department is supposed to be attending and being attentive to these commission meetings, and this was discussed at the last commission meeting, why are we here? Why are we discussing this with an existing ordinance from the previous citation? And now, I understand the new ordinance. You know, there was either, I don't know what the miscommunication was. I don't know if this was a training situation where we were training, but, you know, I just find it completely ironic that before we even move forward with a new ordinance, that residents are being cited for something that has not been a priority, at least from what I've seen, as long as I've lived in this city. And then I would like to see every citation that was given over the last week or so and where they were given.
Yeah, me too.
You know, because I just find it funny, you know, that right now this is being prioritized when there's many other things I think we should do. Yeah, I just, I'm okay with striking the sidewalk related to this ordinance. And then also have staff produce some additional options. Because again, well-intended, you guys worked very hard on this and I appreciate it. And our role for code officers, police officers, the PSAs is a hard one. You're danged if you do, you're danged if you don't. I understand that. And I understand how hard of an issue that is. And, you know, certainly we don't want to have selective enforcement. And sometimes that's the case. Sometimes that appears to be the case. And, you know, a lot of times people say perception is reality. I just think this is crazy how this is shaken out in the last week or two after, you know, was communicated by the police chief. And then there was conversation presented to us about how this is going to be cited and so on and what forth. So I don't want my tone to not appreciate our law enforcement officers or PSAs or code enforcement officers. You know, ultimately there's a chain of command they need to follow. And so I just want to get to the root analysis of how this was decided to be pushed. And, you know, we can talk offline for that, but I would like to propose to my colleagues to strike out that sidewalk and then have staff, based on our feedback, come up with some additional options. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay,
Mayor?
please.
You know, I can empathize with what you guys are saying, but I'm glad you got sidewalks.
We don't all have them.
In District
They're on
Two-
they're on one side of the street, not the
We have a lot
other.
of places that don't have sidewalk. And since we're gonna go back to the drawing table, I don't know the solution, but maybe there is one. I'll talk to you about it here now, is the double parking. I have many cases where a car can't even get through, okay? And if there was an emergency, we would have trouble on the cable. So I don't know whether it means we could put up some no double parking signs. I don't know what the answer is, but something needs to be done about that. There are too many instances where me, personally, I've gone through that. I had to turn around in several places where I couldn't get through.
That is addressed in this. That's part of the portion we're amending sections 4, 5, and 6, which will address that situation. And that's why if we're not moving forward with 1B, I would encourage this commission to move forward with 4, 5, and 6 with direction to staff. We can't just strike sidewalk because it's in our existing ordinance. So the motion would be motion to approve with direction to staff to work on 1B further. Based upon what we're hearing, to see if we can come up with a solution that works for the commission as a whole.
It's pretty clear if they're blocking the road, that's an issue, right? But I think
Absolutely.
if your car is on the tail end of your own driveway, that you bought a house before you had sidewalks, and much like you, we only have sidewalks on First and half of Second. Other than that, we don't have them. So we're having the same issue you are, which is the double parked and not being able to get through. So, you know, I think it's just creating a lot of confusion.
Yeah, Mayor, if I could real quick. No, I agree, and I'm comfortable moving, you know, pulling off the sidewalk one and revisiting that. I think it's important because when you get 4 people living in a house, you have teenagers. I have a teenager who's, you know, and I mean, then you're blocking a sidewalk not to block a sidewalk because you have to. You can't park on the road. And so where are you gonna park? You're gonna park in your driveway. And I get that it blocks the sidewalk, but there's gotta be some way that we can do it. But this is now the second time that we've started talking about a topic, and then all of a sudden, there's a mad rush to start citing people. And so it's a very interesting phenomenon. It happened on another code issue where we were talking about it. It came before us. There had been edits, and then we started hearing about people being fined for something that we hadn't even really voted on that was in a past ordinance. So it is a little frustrating, and I totally empathize with you, Commissioner Turkin, and the mayor on your residents are having this issue, because it's not like it's just selective, like one person here, one person there. You're not sure if your neighbor got cited or if you're just getting cited. We're talking about years and years and years of something that has never been an issue and wasn't an issue when the sidewalk got installed and there hasn't been a notice. And so now here we are, because we're talking about a topic, that it started coming up. So that is, I think when ordinances come up and we're having this discussion, I think there should be and this is to staff, there should be like a stop on any citation for anything that's in that ordinance, because we don't know what we're gonna change. We don't know what we're gonna approve and what was in a past ordinance. And so I think that it's important that it's very clear with staff that, and obviously if the commission agrees, but that any real fines that are in the meat of that ordinance shouldn't go forward until that ordinance is back and in final, unless it's something egregious, and then, maybe that comes before the commission. Hey, I know this ordinance is we're amending it or editing it, but we're having this situation and it should be on a case-by-case basis. But to then, I feel like it's kind of, I totally understand what you're saying. It's kind of like targeting, like, oh, now all of a sudden let's start doing this because the commission's talking about it. It's important, and we are talking about a lot of code issues lately and a lot of issues in cleaning stuff up. So I'm happy that staff is being proactive. It's kind of, there's other things that they can be proactive about, like all the garbage on Hypoluxo and the issues that we're having and guardrails that are gone, and so I feel like it's maybe targeted, but anyway, those are my comments for that. But I support you, Commissioner Turkin, on, re-looking at the sidewalk ordinance and how that can be revised and moving forward with the other parts.
So, and again, this is a previous ordinance that they're getting fined for. So, like, it's very confusing to me when I get a phone call. I'm like, wait, what? That's not even on first reading yet. Right. And then I figure out that there's an existing ordinance. I'm like, well, okay, that's interesting. And then this is now being addressed, and even when it hasn't been, so.
Chief, would you like to say something?
I just think we should be like mindful, with this.
Was this written from an ordinance or a state statute, Chief?
What's that?
Was this an ordinance or a state statute?
This was 14-5.
Okay, so this is an ordinance.
City ordinance, yeah.
It's just improper parking.
Correct.
That's a catch-all, the 14-5.
It's a catch-all, yeah.
Anything else you'd like to say, Chief?
No, just speak about, I know,
Just for a point of clarification, and maybe I misheard you, Commissioner Turkin. You had sent me a text early in the morning about some parking issues on Southwest First Avenue. So I notified our traffic unit to go out there and see if there's any ordinance violations or any parking issues, and I sent them out there. I didn't send them out there specifically to address anything other than the parking picture you showed me about the car parked in the roadway. They went out there, and I just told them to address it based on your request. I believe it was August 4th at 7:13.
Southwest First Street, not Southwest First Avenue.
Southwest First Avenue,
Southwest First Street.
I have your text. It's
And the
Southwest
picture,
First
and you
Avenue
can see
and
the
Southwest
picture
First Street.
is running north and south, not east and west. And that's not a sidewalk.
The direction was to enforce, if there's any ordinance violations, the 14-5 is still on the books, to enforce it. It wasn't a specific direction at sidewalks. I never once said sidewalks to anybody. I sent the picture you sent me to the PSAs and the traffic sergeant to go out there and to make sure that there was any parking issues. And that was the direction. It wasn't specifically about the sidewalks.
No, there was no direction. There was illumination to an issue that this is ongoing.
Well, I think moving forward, let's tighten this up, and then I would like to see if possible that we educate everyone first, and then maybe they do get a warning. And I would like to see that people are not being fined or ticketed simply because they are having family over and that's staying with them for a couple of days. We're going into season. People come and visit people. So I definitely think this needs to be tightened up in a lot of ways.
That's going to be difficult on staff.
Okay.
I don't know how we're going to be able to differentiate that, and if we're trying to enhance the parking aspects with the city, if you're going to have individuals that have family over, the option or the caveat of that is going to have to be very clear in the ordinance that we go forward with, the new ordinance. So as far as like
But if we're warning
That's why we're talking about
people-
striking out the sidewalk. Because I think it's common consensus here that we all agree that there shouldn't be cars parked in the road obstructing emergency vehicles.
I also don't think there should be cars parked on the sidewalk like they are in Seacrest, like 7th Avenue, Southeast 7th, Southeast 8th in Seacrest. I mean, you know this, you've cleaned it up. You know, there's 8 cars parked on the sidewalk there on the weekend, so.
Could be a way to
Is there a
legally
way
put.
to create a maximum number of vehicles per household based on
can do it.
potentially the number of rooms? And that's something that we could potentially work with code enforcement on to figure out the adequate number or an average number.
there's going to be more of these issues. Going forward, there's going to be a ton of complaints that's going to come out of this parking aspect, even with the notices, because we're essentially trying to change the standard in the city. And there's going to be people that you guys know, there's going to be friends, there's going to be family that's going to get these notices or tickets or citations. I just don't want staff being essentially held responsible when we're out here trying to enforce these ordinances that the commission wants to change the neighborhoods that we live in and the community that we're trying to essentially beautify. And these types of instances are going to continue to come up going forward, especially when you're trying to enhance the code standards of the city.
So if I can make a quick comment. Could we or should we create a temporary moratorium when we're working on specific policy to give specific direction to say, okay, we're currently working on this. We want to have a time frame of maybe between first discussion to second reading, or X number of weeks or months where we give specific direction that we don't want to enforce an ordinance until the commission has decided by second reading that that's the direction that we want to head into, so that there's no confusion. That could be something we could do. But also, if we're going to move forward with the maximum number of vehicles, I think that could be a great opportunity to kind of address both concerns and maybe going quiet on the sidewalk issue for now and being more specific towards the number of vehicles, which could potentially have a similar outcome.
The only issue would be if a sidewalk is really close to the house, then you're not gonna be able to fit more than maybe 2 cars. And if a house has 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms, then they're allowed to have it. So I think then it gets even muddier once you start talking about number of cars. I mean, if we have it to where I think it's clear about parking on your own private property, but if you have a sidewalk that then shortens your property, then should you not be allowed to park your 4 cars when you have 2 kids who are 20 years old and they're driving to college, and then you are 2 adults, working adults, and you have 4 cars? And so you're parking legally in your driveway, and it's blocking a sidewalk because the city shortened your driveway when they added a sidewalk. And so now what's your right to then access your driveway?
What I would like to do is do some analysis with regard to potential liability with the ADA. And do a memo on that, because it appears that Colorado Springs was sued for this. And I do want to make sure that we are not creating liability.
Right, because if we have sidewalks.
We only have sidewalks pretty much on First and.
Right,
part
but
of
if you
Second.
provide a sidewalk, then you
Right.
have to follow the law that provides the sidewalk. If you don't have a sidewalk, then you don't have a sidewalk ADA issue. So
And that's where we have the
you
9
have
cars
the
parked
issue,
on the
right.
street and the grass and the
Right.
crisscross.
So
of
it's
it,
a catch
Mayor,
22.
if I may, having
gone through this recently myself, where I live in Village, and we do have 6 people living in my house. I do have 4 kids. We have 4 cars. We had to learn. We had to teach ourselves. 2 cars fit in our driveway. 2 cars fit in our apron. We do clear the sidewalk. I do agree with that. Needs to be probably some training. I mean, I'm not exactly sure the situation that happened on 2nd or 1st Street where they completely blocked the sidewalk or if it was just partially blocked. I do, currently I get out of the car, I come up to the front, I'll look at the back to make sure I'm out of the road, but they can park in there on the apron as well. That is legal, allowed to be done. And you don't have to park, you could park parallel to the street on the apron. So it really boils down to kind of where you guys are talking about, where if you have 8 cars and you only got 4 cars in your driveway, yeah, you're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
There's definitely gonna be a problem if you have 8, 9 cars and you only have 4 spots.
And we're only seeing that coming out of the properties that are not being maintained in a lot of other ways that Candace has been working very hard. And it's a challenge with those, it's all together on those, so.
So my suggestion would go ahead and approve this on first reading, giving us time and instruction to go back and look at the sidewalk to see if it could be modified to provide clarity or some kind of tweak to the language. I do think it'll be more of a training thing, because I can tell you, I mean, my car was maybe 6 inches over the sidewalk, but you can still maneuver the sidewalk by going into my drive by 6 inches, because we had a clear span across my driveway. So I think there's some training component that will happen with again, I think there was a premature thing that happened on that street. I think that'll get rectified through this process. And again, I think once we get and start seeing the effectiveness of this, we will be tweaking this. I guarantee it. So I do think that once we get to that point, we can then come back and then modify it at that point, or do it between first and second reading.
Well, one of the things that West Palm does, and I just want to mention, they have very narrow streets in some areas because they have one-way, right? So that by having one-way streets, one way and another, it does allow for on-street parking maybe on one particular side, so it still leaves an entire lane open. And maybe that's something the city, long-term, could look at, whether or not some of these narrow streets need to be one-way instead of two-way. And that was not my idea, that was someone sitting in the audience.
Well, I can tell you, if like my neighbor who bought a home that didn't have sidewalks, and now it does, and then, they got blown up about it. So I'd be really upset too, because I had this long driveway and I had things, and now it's partially an apron, and now I don't know if I can park there or not. So, well, we're making some progress, I hope.
Is there a motion to approve on first reading with direction to staff to go back and tweak item 1B?
Yes, that's basically what,
You were going to say.
That's what Andrew said.
What Andrew was saying.
And that's what I'm saying.
Yes,
Is there
yes.
an emotion to do that?
Do you need a motion for that?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
we do.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion to amend 1B. What's the rest of it?
Motion to approve the item on first reading with direction to staff to amend 1B as given direction by this commission.
Vice Mayor Hay made
That's
the
it.
motion. Commissioner Kelly made a second.
Mayor, I got one thing.
Yes.
Just so we're clear, 14-5 is still going to exist. So I don't know if you guys want staff to bring back 14-5 to also amend that
Yes.
ordinance?
But
Well, this is
that's what-
14-5.
that is-
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
This is 14-5.
We have a motion to approve, Vice Mayor Hay, a second from Commissioner Kelly, and we now need to go to a roll call.
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes.
Commissioner Turkin?
Yes.
Commissioner Cruz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hay?
Yes.
Mayor Shelton?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, the final item for tonight is proposed resolution number R25227, adopting the Boynton Beach 2025 Economic Development Plan. Staff, if you could please begin your presentation.
Good evening. Okay, so good evening, everyone, Mayor, elected officials, executive team, Gigi Shasu, Division Director of Economic Development. I present to you the Economic Development Plan 2025 to 2030. It's a 5-year plan that has been carefully studied for this year that I have been here with the city. And it has been based on previous studies done by Florida International University and also by RMA that have been, WJI, that did some studies in the city. So we researched those along with other data that we found and refined everything to be in line with what's going on right now in the city, in the county. So the goal is to position Boynton Beach as a vibrant, inclusive, and resilient city for both residents and investors. We have a vision, the vision, mission, and aspirational goals. The vision, of course, is just aspirational, seeking to establish Boynton Beach as a city that drives innovation and prosperity. And also the mission cultivates a thriving economic ecosystem. And the aspirational goals, as you see in there, is becoming a hub for innovation and opportunity, create a livable city and vibrant, inclusive districts. And also foster a collaborative community. One of the things that we started doing actually with pilot programs that we've been running this year is collaboration with different institutions, different organizations here in the county. So this is something that we've been proving just to make sure that works and that we can do it. We have 5 guiding principles, as you can see in there, specifically downtown and waterfront reinvestment, business attraction and retention, workforce development and housing, placemaking, and economic development marketing. These are not, these are principles that are interconnected, and you're gonna see how they really cannot survive without each other, but they have been thought to make sure that they work. So with principle 1, it's basically the downtown and waterfront reinvestment. So of course is downtown, the marina, and the beach. These are the assets that are very important for the city. They bring a lot of, they have a big economic impact, and we want to make sure that they are, they work properly to bring tourism and to support our community and, of course, the business community that in there is vibrant. So every principle is going to be measurable. Like, for example, we have an example of the key metrics that we have for this specific principle, which is the number of visitors to town square, the marina, and the beach, and adjacent corridors. But each principle is going to be also measured for each one of the strategies that are under that principle. Let's go to principle number 2, which is the business attraction and retention. Of course, targets high growth sectors like tech, healthcare, and the 2 last ones that are creative industries and tourism are the ones that nationwide are more important right now for economic development. So definitely we want to bank on that, make sure that we also are part of that creative industry. So it focuses on incentive programs and infrastructure upgrades to support the businesses. So if we want advanced industries here, we have to work together, of course, to have the infrastructure ready for those businesses. And of course, we want to structure, we have to strengthen the support for the current small businesses and for entrepreneurship. By the way, Friday is the Small Business Summit. I hope to see some of you here. Okay, so also you can see the key metrics there. For example, number of entrepreneurs supported, new jobs created, and in priority sectors. So it's all about creating a business-friendly environment to attract industries and strengthen what we already have. Principle 3 is workforce development and housing. Also a very strong principle here, and aligns education and training, aligned with industry needs. We just graduated 2 weeks ago. Our first cohort of the Workforce Development Program, we graduated 11 residents in the city, and 4 of those residents that were unemployed, they received free laptops from Baptist Health. So the pilot program worked pretty well, so we are gonna continue to reinforce everything in the city in workforce. And we already have Florida International University and Palm Beach State College aligned for that. So of course, regarding housing, we promote mixed income housing and infill development. And as you know, we're growing fast and we want to keep, at the same speed, just to make sure that our residents and future residents have what they need. Another one is placemaking, which activates the economic target areas and emerging micro-districts. Again, we envision Boynton Beach as a vibrant, connected, and livable city. And placemaking plays a crucial role in shaping how people interact with the different spaces that we have here in the city. Key matrix example is activated districts, how many districts were activated, branded signage, which is very important. One of the things, I was a resident of Boynton Beach. I use the beach a lot. And one of the things that it really bothered me as a resident is that when going to the beach, the first sign that I see is, this is forbidden. You cannot do this. Instead of a welcoming sign that says, welcome to the beach, enjoy, et cetera, et cetera. So this is part of the placemaking. So we need to improve signage, we need to be more welcoming, and we need to have all those welcome signs really, really redesigned to be inviting, okay? So it's not just about beautification, but it's about function and flow. And then we have principle number 5, which is the economic development marketing, which defines and promotes Boynton Beach values proposition, launches targeted branding campaigns and digital engagement, and highlights business-friendly environment, talent, and quality of life. So we must really define our city to be open for businesses, to be open for visitors and residents. We have to promote a lifestyle just to make sure that people know that when they come here, they're gonna find things to do. That when they work here and live here, they can stay here because we have all the restaurants, we have the entertainment and everything. So it's not about visual, it's about reinforcing the identity of the city as a business hub. Then we have the implementation matrix, which is something that we worked with other departments. So this is not a solo plan. This encompasses every single department here in the city, and this matrix defines which departments we are going to be working with to make sure that every one of these different strategies are going to go through, and how long we calculate that each of those strategies are going to be taking place. Again, this is a 5-year plan, and one of the things that we want to stress is that this is a livable document. So if we need to change something in those 5 years, we can do it, depending on the trends, depending on the needs of the population, depending on the needs of the businesses. So this is an operational plan, and it reflects the team effort of the whole city towards the different goals that economic development is proposing. So the key actions, of course, is treat this as a living document, as I said before. Collaboration, because we leverage partnerships with regional agencies. And of course, we request the approval of the Commission for this plan. And we have a video, so I don't know how to launch it. Who can launch the video? There you go.
I did that.
So this is a sample of what economic development marketing is. So, and that this is something that we're going to be showing everywhere, just to make sure that people know what we have here, which other players are here, so, and what you can play with here in Boynton Beach. Any questions?
Awesome.
No, that was great. A great representation of this city, and I'm glad we excluded all the couches on Seacrest. Thank you for doing that.
I needed that.
You got to bait and switch sometimes, you know what I mean?
If there's nothing else, may we have a motion to approve resolution number R25-227? Commissioner Turkin moved to approve resolution number R25-227. Vice Mayor Hay second the motion. The motion passed. Oh, all those in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, Gigi. That
All those opposed
was
say nay.
amazing.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Gigi. And all of your team, that was amazing. Thank you.
Any other final comments for tonight?
Yes, Mayor. I do want to get an update on the environmental, no, we didn't adjourn. We adopted the economic plan. Environmental impact study, if we can do a little marketing blast on the senior prom. And then the comprehensive plan, I don't see that on the future agenda. Am I forgetting? Did we discuss that, or did we take that off because it's going to be a big overhaul?
Yes, we took it off because we had a kickoff meeting already, and
Okay.
so it's ongoing.
Okay, perfect. All right, I just want sentiment about the train station, I've been vocal about that, and I agree with that. So I know Adam's smiling, but I'm not gonna back down on that fight. And then the city attorney's office, I want to thank you guys. You guys have been getting super busy, so I appreciate that. And then as we move into the new budget year, we're obviously going to do the city manager and the city attorney's review. And I want to make sure that we're including the deputies in this, also fire chief, deputy chiefs, the whole 9 yards, because that's in our budget. And what I'd like, for me personally, is to see measurable accomplishments over the last year, right? I know we've kind of done that, but I want to know, what have we accomplished since last budget year, as far as the strategic plan, economic growth, obviously, public safety decreases in crime rate, response times, et cetera, et cetera. I want to make sure that we have measurable accomplishments. If that's us saving legal attorney fees by going in-house versus outside, great. I just want to make sure as we move forward with these reviews, for me, that we have measurable accomplishments, right? Because that's going to tell a story. And then that'll help me make my decision on how we move forward.
Okay.
To piggyback on the senior prom, is there a way for us to add it to social media? Maybe
It
try
is.
to get other.
I've been sharing the heck out of it on social media.
And
yeah.
I also put it in the newsletter and
How we
emailed
could
it.
get in addition to social media, because, I mean, most people are
Mailer.
social media, but yeah.
That's
Do we have time for that or no? With the water bill?
What about on the
You
digital?
can put out some mail.
Can we put it on the digital sign?
You can put it out, you can turn around mail in 30 to 4 days. I remember I had a lot of residents go to the Christmas event here that we had because of a flyer that I had sent out. And they're like, we didn't even know this existed. But they got the flyer and they're like, oh, here are the
We
events in
send out the
Boynton.
utility bill, like it's way ahead of.
No, I think maybe what I would do if I was in charge of marketing is I would look at 55-plus communities and pull up their HOAs, email them, maybe go door to door, send flyers. I mean, when I was in FLC, Sebring has one marketing person for all their departments. And the amazing stuff this young woman was able to accomplish was incredible as one individual.
Yeah.
And so we've had a senior prom that we've been discussing for a year, and I'm hearing like it hasn't been like, there's opportunity there. And so I think a mailer would be good, connecting with these HOA leaders. Obviously, I think the timing plays into it as well. We're out of season right now. People aren't gonna start coming back until, November. A lot of my district does leave, and they don't come back till November, December, some even January. But I think, if we haven't reached out to those 55-plus HOAs, that would be great. This is a city event, and, I'm big on meeting them where they need to be met, right? They're paying us. So
Let's get it on the digital sign. I'm excited for that. Okay, if there's nothing else, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Commissioner Turkin made a motion to adjourn. Vice Mayor Hay made the second motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. No further business discussed. This meeting is adjourned at 8:04 p.m. I guess so. It's